Yeah, God, I'll never get used to this damn technology. I'm going to die anyway. Why do I have to know? You know, I was just watching the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and here in Utah, they own 4 or 5 radio and television stations, the Mormon Church does, and they force all of us to look at them all the time. KSL is owned by the Mormon Church. It's channel, I believe it's 5 here in Utah. And it used to be the #1 news station. It's not anymore. Beneficial Life Insurance Company used to be the famous life insurance company of the Mormon Church. Monson ran that into the ground. The church paid $500 million to try to rescue it, and it went bankrupt. The Desert News had a brand new building built for them, for their newspaper, owned by the Mormon Church, and now they've moved in with the Salt Lake Tribune, because they couldn't afford that either. And the church used to have janitors cleaning their buildings and temples, and they had to let them all go because they don't have enough money. And so the members of the church have a blessing from Jesus that they get to clean the buildings. It just goes on and on. The $5 billion mall, you know, it opened with all kinds of fanfare and excitement. It is the Titanic. It's still sailing, but we all see it going towards the iceberg. If they thought Mormons had $5,000 or $10,000 for a Rolex watch and $1,000 for a pair of shoes, they didn't do much research here in Utah. And the Tabernacle Choir, the one black guy, he's going to become famous because out of whatever it is, 200 or 300 singers, they always focus on him about every 3rd or 4th camera shot. And they put an Asian beside him this time to make it look like they're really integrated. If you want to see the truth of the Mormon Church and its race relations, for God's sakes, turn on Channel 5 or KSL in Salt Lake City and look at the faces in the Tabernacle Choir. Your ears, what they say, and what your eyes see are not the same. I think they've had about 175 years to integrate. This is 2012. They got one black guy and one Asian guy, and they keep putting the camera on them, so you people are going to think they're integrated. Maybe they can move the camera real fast and make the black man dance. I don't know. It's stupid, stupid stuff. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video is, and I'm going to put the title on it, I wished that it was true. It is very difficult for me, and maybe others, to leave the Mormon Church. It takes a tremendous amount of research and a lot of hard knocks, and many people don't even leave then. I did because I just couldn't make sense of the way the doctrine and the policies and procedures were in the Mormon Church. I knew what they said to me, but I also know how they treated me. And I think they treated me poorly. I really wanted the Mormon Church to be true. I dedicated over 50 years of my life to this organization and its policies and procedures. I've got 14 kids. The little general's tired. Retired. Retreaded. I don't know what he is. But anyway, why the hell would I have 14 kids if I didn't believe that the church, Mormon Church, told me that I was starting my kingdom here on earth that would go with me into the celestial kingdom? Well, they never told me that more than half of these souls that I created were going to be idiots. I didn't know that. They never warned me that they were going to shun me. They never warned me that, you know, my life was going to be made up of tremendous sacrifices. I paid tithing rather than medical bills for my kids. I was almost out of gas all the time in my car, but I still paid my tithing and some fast offering to the church because I thought it was my way to get into heaven. And I went to the temple. I was married in Manti Temple and also Washington, D.C., and the Salt Lake Temple, 3 different girls. And then I married 2 other girls that I didn't take to the temple, 3 other girls. I don't know. I need one of those Chinese calculator things like a rosary so I can keep track. The point is this. I tried very, very hard. I was active. God, I was there almost every damn Sunday. Sick, well, didn't matter. I fed babies with one arm and, you know, was giving Cheerios to the 2-year-old with the other arm. And I certainly taught the elders' quorum. I prepared my lessons and spent my evenings away from my children, and then went in and gave the lesson that the church told me that I should give. I certainly didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I didn't screw. Strange people, my wife's, I got to be honest here, folks, I did. 14 kids. The little general was somewhat in charge with his patriarchal grip. That's in the temple. It's called the patriarchal grip when you go through the veil there. And anyway, I defended the church even when it was indefensible. And I stood up for the church constantly until I resigned. Now let me tell you something, because I think people have a tendency to watch me because I'm honest. I'm just telling you my feelings and what happened to me. If you like the Mormon church, stay in it, join it, call the missionaries. You know, I don't care. It doesn't hurt me a bit. For me, I've decided I don't want to have anything more to do with it. I don't want my current children having anything to do with it, and my wife, which she's still a member on the membership rolls, but we'll see. When somebody says to you, would you like to be a god? And you have a personality like mine that everybody hates. I have no friends. I like that, but it's still a fact. I have no friends. I have one guy I call, he's FLDS. Shane. I'm not going to give you his last name because he'll go to jail. Well, not in Utah, but other states he will. And I call Shane. I said, hi. You know, I call him all the time, and I say, let me turn my fan on. And I say, well, you know, I wanted to call all my friends, and you were first on the list. And he says, who are you kidding? I'm last on the list. I go, I know. And he won't come over here because he's FLDS, and they're not allowed to associate with apostates. He used to be a very good friend, but when I left the church, there he goes. I really wanted the Mormon church to be true. When they said, do you want to be a god? I was first in line. I said, you know what? A god thing is good for me. I like that. Then when they said, well, would you like to have a whole bunch of kids? The little general, he raised his arm. He goes, yep, I do. I do. And I didn't go on a mission, and I'm proud of that because I didn't bring anybody else into this mess except the children who were born in the covenant, which means I was married in the temple by the time they came. I wanted it to be true. Living with my family forever, as long as they were little kids, I thought that was a bitchin' idea. Man, yeah, these cute and ponytails and little ties on the boys, I thought that's fun. Hell, when they all got over 25, I didn't know them. And some of them as teenagers, I was willing to put up for adoption. So the church never told me that. I thought it was always going to be me, handsome, with my little tie and my cheerleader wife and all these little kids, and we'd be sitting there on the bench for 3 hours, and everyone would think we're cool. Well, only the cult people thought we were cool. In the neighborhood, we looked like total assholes. But I never knew that. I never knew that. You know, in the old days, before any of you were born, I had a 57 Chevy that I had in high school that I paid for, that I worked for and paid for. And one of the things in the old days about cars is in the wintertime, many times your battery was dead. You would go outside, and I was at BYU, and every time I went outside, not every, but most of the time I went outside, I had a 56 Chevy there, and I hit the key, and bleh. I go, geez, where's the energy? You know what I did? About what the rest of you did. I kept turning the key, thinking energy is going to come from heaven in some way. It won't need jumper cables this time, and the son of a bitch will start. It never did. But I wanted to believe that it would. There's many times in our lives that we hook up with things that are either not true or not good, but we want it so bad that we just have a way of, putting the bad to the back and saying, this is the work of God. He is testing me with dead batteries. Well, you know what? He won! I'm sick of dead batteries. I've got 2 new cars, both of them under 100% warranty. I'm not getting out under those damn cars anymore with jumper cables and oil leaks and all the other things that went on in the old days. Well, same way with the Mormon church. I wanted it to be true. I really, really wanted it to be true. Especially the God and sex stuff. And the promise of 14-year-olds, hey, me and Joseph, I'm second in line. Now, just teasing you now. My sweet one, Abigail's turned 14 in 2 months. And when I asked her if she wanted a 38-year-old man for a husband, she said she was going to slap the white off of me. Because I'm always saying, I'm going to slap the brown off of you. She's so cute. Oh, she's cute. I wanted it to be true. And every time somebody lied and said Joseph Smith was a pedophile, I go, no, prophets can screw young girls. That's okay. And every time somebody said, well, Brigham Young killed all those people in Mountain Meadows. No, there's no proof of that. Well, as I found the truth in the pieces and started to put the puzzle together, I struggled. Because the Mormon church was David. David didn't have a personality. David had nothing in his head. It was all the Mormon church. My dad is that way. My dad has no personality. I told you he's a child molester. I don't know if that goes with child molesting or not. But he has no personality other than the Mormon church. I really, really wanted it to be true. And I hung in there and hung in there and hung in there. And I kept turning the starter and turning it and turning it. That damn battery was dead. And nothing was going to bring that battery back except jumper cables or a trash can and get a new battery. So those of you that are out there that watch me, that are Mormons, I understand. I understand how hard it is to admit the truth. The truth many times can be focused through our own glasses, that 2 people can see the same identical thing, but they have totally different responses and memories and feelings about it. So I want to let the Mormons know, and the rest of you, that I didn't take this lightly. I wasn't getting excommunicated because I had a girlfriend on the side. I wasn't smoking and drinking because I couldn't live the standards of the church. I wasn't saying negative things, and I wasn't an apostate. I wasn't publishing anything. I resigned from the Mormon church. I was not excommunicated, but the Mormons can't believe that. They just can't believe it. It's the old battery. It is dead. See, they can't understand principles. I was not excommunicated. I was living the commandments, had a temple recommend when I resigned. I've worked in the temple in Los Angeles. I've been in the state president, in Hartford, Connecticut. I've been in elders' quorums. I've taught the elders' quorum for years. Took my kids to mutual, well, they didn't call it mutual, now they call it young women's and young men's, and my boys hated scouts. I did too. And, you dress them up and start saluting, and they go, Dad, this is crap. I go, I know, but the church wants us to do it. I went to the gold and green balls. Now, I never saw gold there or green, but it was a place to go and dance and be there for the evenings, and potluck dinners, and some of you are so old, or so young, you'll never understand this. We did dance festivals in the old days. We all got together in the chapel and learned segments of a huge dance festival, and then went to the University of Utah or BYU, and then was like 10,000 young people came together, and we were all dancing and looking over our shoulders to see if the girls in that ward are cuter than the ones in our ward. I wanted it to be true. It gave me something to think about. It told me what to say, told me what to eat, told me what underwear I should wear, and what I should believe and say and do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the rest of my life. It was easy. Being in a cult is easy. You know what the rules are, and the cult people all clap you. They go, hey, David's cool. Look at that, man. He's got a suit and tie on. Well, I just want people who review these records to know I sincerely, 100% wanted it to be true. And I put up with a lot of shit for a lot of years, and as the truth started seeping in, I was like the little boy, the Dutch boy, putting my finger in the dike every time I heard something, and pretty soon I was out of fingers and toes, and the water started coming over the dikes and going, you know what, you're in a cult. These things are not true. The church tells you one thing, but you read the history or the journals or the people that were there, they don't match. You had the Journal of Discourses and the documented history of the church. It told the truth about the Mormon church in its early days. The Mormon church put them out of print. You can't get them anymore. McConkie, his book, Gospel Doctrine, it's out of print. You can't get it anymore. So they're sanitizing, and I'm sure they're going to be very happy when I'm dead, because I won't make any more self-proclaimed videos. But this is what's happened to me. If you like the Mormon church, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on the internet and on the newscast, good Lord, vote for Romney. If you've never been in a theocracy, it's bitching. You don't have to say or do anything. They just tell you to shut your mouth, bow your head, and say yes. And if you're that kind of a person, you're going to be happy as hell. I'm not. I wasn't. I was miserable all the years that I was there, and I did try to kill myself 4 times while I was in the Mormon church. One time since I was out. I don't know what that means. It may have meant that, you know, I was adjusting, or I don't know. It may mean I'm mentally ill. Maybe it's as simple as that. And we mental people all line up for the Mormon church. It's a good place to hide. If you're a child molester, you line up. If you're a murderer, you know, this little girl, God, I'm so upset about it. This little 6-year-old girl down in West Jordan, playing in her own neighborhood, but now I hear a different report that 3 o'clock in the morning, one of her neighbors and one of the members of her ward picked her up at 3 a.m. in the morning and raped her and killed her and threw her little body in the river. The next Sunday, he, the murderer, was sitting next to that family to console them. What's wrong with that picture? People, I really wanted it to be true. I fought and fought hard for it. I stood up. I gave them my money. I baptized my children. I sent 2 kids, let's see, Rachel and Steve, on missions. And most of the, Adam and, oh Lord, I can't even remember the names of so many of them. But they were all married in the temple. I gave it my best, folks. I gave it my best, and my resume and my life clearly indicate I'm not a quitter. But my life also says I'm not dishonest. I haven't cheated on IRS. I haven't cheated with any social or religious organization. Many times I've been investigated by the IRS and Social Security Administration and other places. And I've been exonerated every time. In fact, the first time the IRS audited me, they gave me $300. They said, you made a mistake. I took the $300 and went home. So I try to be as honest a human being as I can, as kind as I can be, and as loyal as I can be. And you really got to push me to the edge of the Mormon church before I said, no, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. I was active. I paid my tithing. I paid my fast offering. I worked in the temple. I worked in the local ward, and God knows I went on, you know, roofing projects. I remember I went on a service project where an old lady had 5 cats or whatever in her house for 15 years, and they never went out of the house. And the bishop says, "You think maybe you could help her clean up?" Good Lord! If that wasn't good enough for Jesus, I don't want to be with Jesus. Anyway, please be aware of my true feelings. I really wanted the Mormon church to be true. And I held in there till the very, very last minute. But once, you know, you get the straw on the camel's back, the camel falls to its knees and finally rolls over dead. And I resigned. Thanks for listening.